Hey everybody. So, uh, darn, I just got told that this whole time I've been broadcasting that I wasn't live. So, thank you for that, boy from Cali. If you're on here, I'm just going to leave him a note, but not live. Wow, I had some good calls too. So sorry that you guys missed that. Anyway, I am super sorry about that. Never hit the I hit the hit the intro button and never hit the go live button. So we'll get started again. Thanks for joining everyone, and sorry about that. Thanks for hanging in there, those of you who did, because I don't know what I was thinking, but we've got a nice 2-game slate tonight, and I will get right into it, given that you guys have already been waiting. We'll kick things off with Boston and Philadelphia, 215 over under. Boston's favored by 2.5, which I am totally shocked about. It's kind of surprising to me. I mean, I know they were favored coming in, but with Embiid back, I just think this is going to be a real tight series. And being back home, I expect Philly to take this one. So just if someone can, I want to make sure that I'm live right now. Actually, it looks like Voice from Cali is telling me that I'm live now, so should be good. So I am huge. Thanks, Voice from Cali. I am a huge fan of Embiid tonight. He is going to be across my lineups. He has not played Boston particularly well in the playoffs historically, but this year, regular season, he has been over 60 fantasy points 3 times, including a 78, and he's MVP of the league. Like, the guy's got to be riding on a high right now. He should be, getting back to health. His first game back, obviously, he played fewer minutes. It was a blowout, and it was his first game back. Wasn't really getting up for rebounds and stuff like that. But I do expect him to be closer to full strength tonight, and I really like Embiid a lot tonight. When Embiid's back in the game, it really does dampen a few other guys' games. Tobias Harris, his usage goes way down, so I'm going to be staying away from him. And even James Harden, with Embiid clogging up the middle, makes it a lot harder for Harden to get off the floaters and some of the other plays that he likes to do. So I'm probably not going to Harden either. And even Maxey gets less usage. And this is a tough matchup for Maxey. As far as matchups go, really good defense on the other side, particularly for Maxey's game. So I am going to stay away from him as well. The only other guy I'm really looking at on Philly is Melton. Coming off the bench, he's the kind of guy, he can get you a 20 or a 22, but he's also the kind of guy who can easily get you 30 points, and he's got a steal or two in there. It's an up-tempo game, which suits his style, and I like his pricing a lot tonight. I certainly wouldn't go any deeper. These benches have really gotten constricted. Not going to somebody like a Niang or Milton. The only guy maybe would be a Paul Reed if you think that he's not going to play his full allotment of minutes. But I just don't even think he's going to get enough minutes to make that worthwhile. Over on the other side of things, you've got Griffin out and Gallinari out. No big deals there. Boston's been playing really interestingly. The darling of last year's playoffs, Derek White, has not come to play yet. So he's someone to consider. His price has plummeted. He's below 5K, which it really hadn't been all season. So he's really someone to consider in a GPP. Kind of interesting because maybe he gets back into the flow of things. They need him. I mean, Boston has not been playing nearly as well without him hitting his shot. So I think that White, is going to have a breakout game at some point. Is it going to be tonight? I'm only banking on him for GPP. The guy that I like in cash games is Brogdon, coming off the bench. He's getting a lot of minutes, seeing a lot of usage. I like him a lot. He's playing really great. I mean, this is I don't know if he's been in the playoffs before. Certainly, probably with Milwaukee, but certainly not in the past few years. But he's a veteran, and I like him a lot. I think Marcus Smart is another good play and reasonably priced. There's a lot of guys on Boston who I like, and I tend to prefer staying in the mid-tier range as opposed to paying up for Jaylen Brown. I think Jaylen Brown will, kind of hit his 40, 45 fantasy points, but he's not going to have a real upside game against this Philly defense. Tatum's the only guy. I mean, he's really pricey, and I think you have to consider, do you go for, if you're going to get two of the up-priced guys, is it a Harden, a Tatum, an Embiid, a Jokic, a Booker, or Durant? I like Tatum probably around the middle of that pack. I certainly like Embiid better, and I probably like a Booker better, but I do like him better than some of the options. So he's someone that I am going to consider as well as I play around with lineups. And then Al Horford is like a perfect guy for cash games. He's going to get you that 25 to 30 points. Don't expect a lot of upside from him. And again, I wouldn't go any deeper on the bench than Brogdon. Except actually, Grant Williams. I think they figured they need Grant Williams in there defensively against Embiid. He was a secret squirrel line last game, and he paid off really nicely. He played more minutes than he had in the entire postseason, and really smashed. So someone to look at again. Again, he's like 3,500, so super low. Someone that you can fit into your lineup, but also with some risk is he hasn't really been playing large number of minutes consistently. All right, well, there we go. I was wondering before why nothing was going on in the chat, and I guess it's because I wasn't live. So, I said hello already, thanking Stacks for being the first one in, and enjoying a little Cinco de Mayo with King of All Trades. I hope you have a Corona for me, and thanking Bev for joining, Females Unite. To Prince, you said you're late. I was late too, apparently. I totally blew that. So you are joining in at the right time. And Bev, I just went through a little bit of like pay-ups who I like. Hope that helps you out. Joe, thank you so much for your donation. Super, super appreciate that. Great to have you join. And DD is here in the house. I love that. My favorite DD. Oh man, you've been sick. What's going on? I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you are doing okay. So that's game one. Shout out if you've got any thoughts or questions on that. I think I gave you a pretty good sense. I'm probably going to be going with about, slightly fewer guys in this game versus the later game, which is a full 10 points higher. Certainly taking one of my high-priced guys, if not two, if not both, but most likely one, and then some mid-range guys. Denver Phoenix, a little different. 225 is the over-under. And also here, what's super interesting is that, Phoenix is favored by 4. And I guess that Vegas is saying, hey, they're in desperation mode. They're down 2 games to none. That they've got to win this one. Totally agree. But, I hope they can do it. I mean, as you know, I'm a huge Suns fan. They've really been disappointing me. It's freaking me out that Chris Paul is now out. And, between Booker and Durant, I hated that fourth quarter last game where all they were doing was ISOs. And it was just really, really depressing. I just hope they've figured out some plays and how they can get other players into the flow of the offense and not rely so much on those two guys. So with that, Monty Williams made it at a press conference, but hopefully not too many people saw that. He stated that he's going to be getting Terrence Ross and TJ Warren more into the offense. And that was a call that I had made as well, saying that they needed that. Now, I don't know how many people have picked up on that, but it's definitely something that I'm looking at for tonight. So, Damian Lee is shooting like 20% from the field during the playoffs. Shamet's shooting like 26% from the field. Okogie doesn't even want to take a shot in the fourth quarter. So I just don't see these guys getting much playing time. I think you need to go to guys who have some experience, aren't afraid to shoot, and even though the defense is going to suffer, you have guys out there who can create some offense and take some of the burden off of Booker and Durant. So, my sneaky plays tonight are going to be Terrence Ross. I mean, min salary too. That's the other thing. You can fit them into your lineup nicely. I expect him to be getting 20 plus minutes, and he's like a point per minute fantasy guy because he just chucks the ball. If he's hitting, if he's not hitting, then he can suck. I like him. And then TJ Warren, maybe more of a GPP play, but same thing. It's not as obvious. He's more of a small forward, power forward. So not as obvious where he's going to get his minutes from, as opposed to Ross can go out there and Booker can play the point and Ross can play the shooting guard position. But I think he's also going to get those 20 plus minutes and is a viable point per minute guy. So I'm looking at those guys. I do like Booker. I like Booker over Durant, although I think both of them will hit value. I mean, they're just going to be out there a ton of minutes. And again, it's home game and it's a do or die. Not a fan of a Kobe. They've gone away from Torrey Craig. Not sure why. Like, he seems to be the perfect guy to kind of get in there in the lineup, but they have not been using him in the rotation for this series. And DeAndre Ayton, if you can fit him in, I actually like him. Even with Embiid, when you're playing Draftkings, I think he's a fair price, and they've got to figure out a way to get him the ball more in the paint. If he stays out of foul trouble, I think that's a good one. So before we go to the other side of things, I know Boy from Cali is calling us Suns exit in fourth. Damn it, man! Don't say that. I think they go at least 5. But we'll see. We'll see. Tonight's gonna, be the story. I think if they don't win tonight, they're just demoralized, and I think it's gonna be a sweep. Stacks like Biyombo. Yeah, the only thing about Biyombo is that it really depends on whether or not Ayton stays out of foul trouble. But Biyombo is not he's not offensively minded, and I just think if they need offense, they're not going to be going for Biyombo, especially when when the Joker's off the court, they go small, and so I just don't necessarily see him getting the minutes. He's only gotten, I think, up to 10 minutes in this series, so I'd be careful there. It's not a great matchup for him. And Boy from Cali saying that, yep, Ross and Williams should get the minutes, and that's kind of where I'm heading as well. So over on the Denver side of things, Jamal Murray had a real crappy night last game. I expect him to have a bounce back game. I don't see him having 2 bad nights in a row. The defense, I mean, it wasn't there with Chris Paul. It's not going to be there, whoever they put in as, instead of Paul to start off. I mean, Booker, personally, I would not have Booker guarding Murray. I think you're just going to exhaust the guy if he's got to face Murray on the defensive side and, carry all the offense, but we'll see. So I like Murray in this game. I like him better than Joker, again, just because of where his pricing is and the fact that I like Embiid over Joker tonight. So definitely a fan of Murray. Michael Porter, typical Michael Porter, he just becomes invisible. Not a fan of his at all, and I'm not going there tonight. Aaron Gordon's been real solid. I saw him play live against Phoenix earlier this season, and he's a very versatile player. He gets involved in a lot. I think he'll be super active in this game, and I think he's a little bit pricey, but he's someone who I think from a perspective I would definitely bank on. Caldwell Pope was hitting his threes the last game, but he sort of lives and dies by that. He and Brown, I think, are relatively interchangeable in my mind. I don't see either of them going crazy, but from a cash game perspective, not terrible either. And I wouldn't really go any deeper than that. I think Braun is showing like he's a decent young player, but he's not getting the minutes. And they're going to stay real tight on rotation. So, keep it tight. Looking for value tonight. I think you do have some decent value plays. Again, if you're looking at like a Ross or a Warren, I think, as we said, White, Melton, even Smart and Brogdon on Fanduel in particular were a good value. So that's where I pick up some of my value as opposed to anyone on the anyone else on the Denver side. So, all right. So that is it for the 2 games. Kind of short and sweet. Travis Wyndham has joined us. Thank you. Played a couple of showdowns. Yeah, I hit. What showdown did I hit big on? I hit big on a showdown the other night. I was pretty psyched. I also hit really big. I had a takedown on MLB. I guess it was a 2-game slate actually. So that one was fun. But the showdowns can be kind of nice if you have that, one sneaky player who hits it. So I don't know, maybe go for Terrence Ross in your captain position tonight and let that ride. Anyway, I wish you guys a ton of luck tonight. Enjoy the games, enjoy the weekend, and we will be back tomorrow. I believe Crash is coming back for MLB, and we'll be right with you as we crush it in DFS Coach Talk.